Hi students, in this video we're going to cover parallel lines and transversals. This is lesson 3.1. Our objectives are to learn new notation regarding parallel lines, learn angle relationships caused by parallel lines, classify angles, and we'll even find angle values. So some new notation is we have this statement line A is parallel to line B. In place of that statement, we're going to use this symbol. It's a double straight lines. And we're going to rewrite this as line A with that symbol, line B. And all that means is line A is parallel to line B. If you already have a diagram that the way you know that two lines are parallel to each other is that they have the same number of arrow marks. So since line A and line B both have two arrow marks, we know that line A is parallel to line B. Some new terms. So given a pair of lines and a transversal, we'll talk about that on later slides. The angles have two relationships. They have a relationship with the transversal, that's going to be alternate or same side, and the angles have a relationship with the pair of lines that are created, the angle that's created by the transversal, and that's going to be interior or exterior. And the next handful of slides are going to explain those relationships. First, we're going to talk about what a transversal is. So a transversal is just a line that intersects at least two other lines. So in this case, the red line is our transversal. And then we'll say we call this line A and we call this line B. Then because the red line goes through line A and line B, that means that the red line is a transversal. It's possible for a line to act as a transversal or also just be a part of another pair of lines. Like if I draw in this red line, now we can say line A is a transversal because it intersects this line and that line. So it's possible for a line to do more than one thing. So one of the relationships angles can have with a transversal is alternate, and that's going to mean that the angles are on opposite sides of the transversal. The corresponding dots are going to be alternate angles. So the two yellow dots are going to be alternate angles. One angle is on the left side of the transversal, the other angle is on the right. And the same for the green and the black dots. So alternate means on the opposite side of the transversal. Same side is going to mean obviously on the same side of the transversal. So all of the pink dots are on the same side, the left side of the transversal. And all of the, we'll say greenish dots are on the right side of the transversal, which is going to make them same side angles. The next relationship we have is interior. And so now interior is going to be the relationship that the angles have with a pair of lines, not the transversal. So interior means the angles are inside the same pair of lines. And so as you can see, our four purple angles are all inside line A and line B. Then we have exterior, and that's going to mean, this should be exterior, excuse me, I did not change that. So it's going to mean exterior. That means that the angles are outside. Excuse me, I thought I caught that. So exterior is going to mean that our angles are outside the same pair of lines. So all of these orange dots represent angles that are outside line A and line B. And so when we have parallel lines, we get 5 special angle relationships. 4 of them deal with the relationship the angle has with the transversal and the pair of parallel lines. And those are alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, same side exterior, where the first word describes the relationship with the transversal and the second word describes the relationship with the parallel lines. And the other relationship that we have is corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are in the same position relative to the transversal and the line. When you see that, it makes much more sense. So alternate interior angles are on opposite sides of the transversal. We're going to label this transversal T. And so Our alternate interior angles are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're inside the same pair of lines. So the two pink dots are both inside line A and line B, but they're on different sides of the transversal T, and the same thing for the green dots. Inside the parallel lines, opposite side of the transversal. I'm sorry. And alternate interior angles are going to be congruent, meaning that if you know the value of one alternate interior angle, you know the value of the other. For instance, if this angle was 120 degrees, you know that the green dot is also 100. The other green angle is 120 degrees. And if this angle were 60 degrees, then this other angle would have to be 60 degrees as well, because alternate interior angles are congruent. Also, this takes us back to the if-then statements that we wrote in Unit 1. We have this relationship: if line A is parallel to line B, then alternate interior angles are congruent. That's going to come up a lot, and later on we're going to talk about the converse of these theorems. So alternate exterior angles, are going to be angles that are on opposite sides of the transversal, but they're outside of a pair of lines. So in this case, our pink dots, or our pink angles, are both outside line A and line B, and they're on opposite sides of our transversal. We're going to call this T again. And so opposite sides of the transversal, outside line A and B, and that same relationship exists for the green dots as well. Alternate exterior angles are also congruent, meaning that if the pink angle was 120 degrees, this other pink angle needs to be 120, and the green angle would be 60, and this other green angle would also be 60. Now we have same side interior angles, and same side interior angles are going to be supplementary. Let's change the color of these dots. Let's make this one green, and we're going to make the other one we'll make them both red. So this should be red, and that should be red. So for same side interior angles, they are on the same side of the transversal and between the same pair of lines. So you can see we have two pair of same side interior angles. We have the first pair that I'm circling, and we'll say the second pair that I'm going to circle with a dotted line. Same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they add to equal 180 degrees. So if line A is parallel to line B, and we know they're parallel because of this mark, they have the same number of arrows, then the same side interior angles are supplementary, which again means they add to be 180. So if the red angle was 150 degrees, that means that the green angle would have to be 30 degrees, because 150 plus 30 is 180. The next relationship that we have is same side exterior angles. And my copy paste game is off. So same side exterior angles are they have the same relationship as same side interior angles, where they are supplementary, but they're outside of the transversal. So we're going to make this, excuse me for a moment. So this should be green. My apologies. So this angle should be green, and we'll make this one red. And so that will make us make this one red. So the green and the red angle add to equal 180. So if you knew this angle was 50 degrees and this angle was 130 degrees, then that other angle has to be 130. And this angle would be, 130. And this angle would be 50 degrees. So again, same side exterior means that the angles are supplementary. And that same relationship exists for these angles, the other pair of angles as well. The last relationship we have is corresponding angles. And corresponding angles, they are in the same position with respect to the transversal and their respective line. For instance, if I look at this pink dot here, it's above line A and to the left of the transversal. The other pink dot is above line B and to the left of the transversal. So their respective relationship is above and left, or left and above, which makes them corresponding angles. They're in the same position. You can imagine if you move line B all the way up and take the angles with it, eventually all of these dots would line up with the other dots. All of the dots on line B would line up with all of the dots on line A, and that's what makes them corresponding angles. So pause the video and see if you can classify the relationships between X and Y. And that's going to be alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side exterior, same side interior, or corresponding. Pause the video and come back to check your answers. All right, so assuming you pause the video, you should have gotten that X and Y for the first one. These are alternate interior angles. For the next one, you should have gotten that. I'm sorry, these are not alternate interior. These are corresponding angles. Excuse me, corresponding angles. So for the next one, we have alternate interior angles because both Y and X are between the lines and on different sides of the transversal. For the next one, this should be same side interior angles because X and Y are between the two lines and on the same side of the transversal. And the last one should be alternate exterior angles because X and Y are outside of the lines and on different sides of the transversal. So now pause the video and see if you can determine the value of the missing angle. Again, you should apply the concept of alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side interior, or same side exterior to reach your answer. Okay, so for the first one, we have same side interior. So same side interior. And that's just going to mean that we have this simple equation of X plus 97 equals 180 because same side interior angles are supplementary. And so if we subtract 97 from both sides, we're going to get X equals 83 degrees. So we'll put 83 degrees. For the next one, we know the lines are parallel because we have the same number of arrow markings. So in this case, we have alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent. So that means our missing angle is also 64 degrees. And for the last one, we have another pair of parallel lines. We know that because of the arrows. And because these are alternate exterior angles are congruent. So this angle is also 66 degrees. And for our last slide, it's the same thing. Pause the video and see what you come up with. Okay, so for this one, we have another pair of parallel lines. We know that because of the arrow markings. Since we have alternate interior angles, it means this missing angle is 112. And for the last one, we have corresponding angles. And since this angle is 98, the missing angle also has to be 98 degrees. All right, so that's going to conclude our video over parallel lines and transversals. In this video, we covered the angle relationships of alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side interior, and same side exterior. And we found basic angle values. In our next video, we're going to take this one step further and use that to solve equations that involve parallel lines. Thanks for watching.